Tag show. Tag show. That's gonna leave a mark, Taylor.
That's undisputed because I'm undisputed.
What's good, everybody? It's the Mixed Tag Show with you. Is that how we do it? You're listening and watching. I'm sorry. You're listening and watching the Mixed Tag Show with
Jenna and Blue.
Blue.
I did the same thing. I did the exact same thing. I'm like, wait, it's this way. It's this way.
What's up, yo? We're doing a like a little impromptu, not impromptu, but just we figured we should get this out since we may not be able to record this weekend. So
yeah. Had a very interesting haps that happened. Before we do, shout out to Brian H. Brian H had me on his Breaking Glass Ceilings episode. Breaking through glass ceilings.
Does not like, shout out to him and congratulations to him. But does he not like me or something? I'm confused. You've been on this man's show numerous times. Hold on. You've been on this man's show numerous of times. He's been on our show.
This is my first time.
You've done stuff with him before.
He was on Straight Shoe Sundays with me on our Instagram, and then we did
something else you guys did.
No, we did the joint review with us. That was it.
I swear if I find it in the archive.
Go ahead and look. He just did Straight Shoe Sundays with us, and then him and Dwayne did the review with us. Was it I forgot what pay-per-view that he did with us. It was all four of us. The one we just saw.
I just feel like you guys are always doing something. I'm just.
We always communicating. We always talking. That's the homie.
No. That's cool. I'm just saying is like, I speak wrestling. I dabble in it. You know what I mean? But listen, it's cool. It's fine. It's whatever. I don't care. No snot from my nose.
Like I said, this week you can check me out on Breaking Through Glass Ceiling with Brian H. Talk about my time at Hot 97, being a dad, some religion talk. Well, not religion, some faith talk. It was a good conversation. We had a dope conversation, and it was while we was watching the situation that happened with Big E. So, yeah. But this week.
Oh, so you guys were just bonding. And one night I didn't get a text like, yo.
I mean, it kind of happened after we got off recording. Like we was like seeing, we was actually watching the Randy. All right, so boom, Randy Orton and Bobby Lashley had their match, right? We was watching that, and then how did you see the tweet when Big E said that tonight he's cashing in?
No, I didn't actually. I just saw. Go ahead.
I was about to say he just tweeted it like early in the day, like around noon or so. He was like, "Yeah, I'm cashing in tonight." Like what?
Yeah, no. You remember? Now I know why I probably didn't see that was because I was laid out on my bed with food poisoning.
Oh yeah. You were sick this past week. Yeah. So that's what happened.
It wasn't much activity on social media for me.
Yeah, so he basically called a shot. It was like, tonight I'm cashing in. So everybody, that's why everybody's confused. Like, wait, but isn't Randy Orton having a title match tonight with Bobby Lashley? So I ain't gonna hold you. When he said that, I automatically thought, yo, he's not winning this title like this. like how many times have people called their shots and it didn't pan out the way it's supposed to? So the only time I really could think about is when RVD had his title match against Cena at One Night Stand, and he actually won.
Mm-hmm.
ECW. That's the only time I can think about when somebody called their shot and actually won with the Money in the Bank. Other than that, you kind of want to catch the person slipping, no?
Um, I feel like in recent history there was someone that said they were going to cash in and wound up being successful. I can't recall it, but I feel like it's happened recently.
Let me look it up in the meantime. But yeah, what you think about that whole? So that if that's the case, you surprised when he cashed in?
No, because remember, I wound up watching Raw and seeing him, the interaction. Like, the opening segment was him, Bobby, and Randy. So it was just
Oh, see, I missed
he,
that one.
yeah, yeah. So then throughout the night, it was just like I'm gonna cash in essentially. He was just waiting, right? So
Right.
that wasn't a surprise there in the sense. It was just the fact. I thought whenever he cashes in, he was gonna win. I didn't think he wasn't gonna win just because it's Big E and people just really behind him and everything.
Right.
But I guess just to get into reason why I guess we're just gonna solely discuss on this, especially
Yeah.
when we had a lot of tying in from the previous episode, the recap we did from All Out, or the recap we did of All Out with Phil. Shout out to Phil. There was a lot of
Shout out to Phil.
backlash in regards to the small clip that was posted. A couple of things that Phil said that went over people's heads. So I wanted to, I felt like it was important for us to discuss not only that, and just continue this conversation about Black voices and us supporting each other and, celebrating a monumental win from Big E. But yeah, I guess just to get into the actual win, um, I definitely popped, right? It was
Right.
just definitely it reminded me of the last time it might have been WrestleMania that I feel like that I've genuinely felt that happy someone won. You know what I mean? And I guess we can
Yeah.
take it back to WrestleMania in what's WrestleMania 37? No,
Oh,
this
when
was
Kofi
WrestleMania
won? Kofi
37.
Mania?
Yeah. Yeah, what WrestleMania was that again?
That was 35.
WrestleMania 35 because this one is 37, right?
Yeah,
This
35,
past one.
35.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, it was just so organic to see, how everyone just came together and just automatically was happy to see Big E win, and it's well deserved. It's someone that's been busting his ass for this company for well over what 11 years
Eight, eight,
he's been in the
eight,
company,
eight, nine, 8, 9,
maybe
right?
9. Yeah,
9.
nine
Yeah.
9 years in the company. He was a force in NXT, and just you can see all the love that he got from people all over. Obviously,
All
he's
promotions.
well loved.
All
All
promotions.
promotion, all promotions. Just not even outside of that, but just fans. I haven't seen one bad comment in regards to it, and it was well deserved.
Right.
You can just tell he's a really good human being. Um, and it's for the culture, man.
Definitely. He started his career in 2009. So more than 9 years. He started NXT. He did his NXT debut and championship was 2012 to 2013. So yeah, about 9 in terms of that factor. But yeah, like it was just great to see that happen, man. Like, and like, I mean, we all seen it coming. We know that he should challenge Bobby Lashley so he can reunite with the New Day, and just to see how genuinely happy they are for him. Like, like you see the video from the crowd when Xavier and Kofi come running down the ramp, like they were like they had rockets on their back. You know what I mean? You can see that they were genuinely happy for him. And even when he talked about it, he like even before the match, he's waiting the gorilla. He's kind of nervous, but it was those guys that was just like, "Yo, relax, you got this." You know what I'm saying? Like calming him down. And Xavier had the idea for the picture to take before he goes out, and it was just a dope feeling. It was a great feeling in general. I remember when Kofi won, and after he had that mishap with Brock Lesnar, everybody's like, "All right, now you got to focus on Big E." And I feel like this is a good example for that to happen. And it paid off in the long run. So very excited for
Do
Big
you
E.
think,
Like this is a very dope.
for sure? Do you think that it happened at the right moment, or he should have been a world champion a long time ago?
It happened at the right moment. Like he could have happened before, and it probably would have been fine. But this was like the way it built up to it between Paul Heyman telling him that he had to get serious on talking smack, kind of like building him up in a sense of like being, you know how Paul Heyman is. He's trying to build him up in characters. Like, yo, if you want to come after Roman, you gotta be better. You know what I'm saying? Like some tutoring thing. And looking at other commentators like Booker T who doubted him on a shoot.
Or even
You know what I'm saying?
remember
Like
the Miz. Remember when
the
the Miz
Miz,
came
like
at him in that episode of Talking Smack? What was it, last year or something like that? Said he had to be more serious and whatnot.
right. And then now you've seen all these people congratulate him. Like again, Paul was doing it just to feed into his character, but the other two, the other ladders of Booker T and Miz really meant what they said, and and it was just like, all right, so you're congratulating him, but where's the apology? Because according to y'all, this is not supposed to be happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he was supposed to be serious, and he couldn't be himself. Like how who are you to tell somebody that they can't be a champion and they can't be a role model by being themselves? You know what I'm saying? Like even when you think about it, like that was just a unthought comment made by his peers and commentators that
Yeah.
didn't have no sense talking.
I mean,
Just
and
happy for
I
him,
think
yo.
also too. I think is you also got to shout out again to Big E, because it's just like you said, he stayed true to himself, right? Why should
Yeah,
it's the stigma that black men have to be, these big tough
robots, monsters.
robots, monsters, no feelings and emotions. And Big E, he's a big dude, but he's he's intelligent, he's funny, he's
Funny.
goofy. You know what I mean? He just obviously has a good spirit. Why should he have to change himself? So it shows just the different facets of black people, right? We can be serious, we can be funny, we can be goofy, we can be silly, we can be, but when it's time to get to business, clearly as Biggie has shown, it pays off, right?
You can
And
handle it.
or we can handle and exceed at it. Um,
They even showed the
so
time
it's just
after
shout out to him.
on Twitter. They even showed like a video of like after week after Booker T made his comments about, oh, you can't be a real champion if you're not serious. And then the week after, Big E literally rolls down the ramp with the title around his waist and starts swimming in the ring, kind of like, I'm gonna do whatever I want, and it's gonna be funny.
Listen, at this point, I'm not here to disrespect anybody, but like not Biggie, Booker T has shown time and time again he has very, very, very poor takes.
Yeah,
Specifically on
more than
black
once.
wrestlers. It's
More
not
than
even
once,
just
yeah.
like on a general scale, but there's three or four different times on prominent black wrestlers he has had very bad takes on. And it's just like
Yeah,
at one point you can't be a company guy. Sometimes you have to you got to be for the culture. Sometimes you get what I'm saying, or find
you gotta speak out.
the even ground, because like it's really he has really bad takes.
Yeah, he does.
And clearly clearly everybody was behind this, because the reaction he got. When's the last time you really seen? I mean, I think we all pop. I mean, when it comes to Money in the Bank cash-ins and successful
Right,
cash-ins,
right,
but this
right.
was something that like New Day has been like a fan favorite for like years, and that's hard for a lot of talent, right? To
To
legitimately
sustain.
stay, not even to sustain, but just for the fact that New Day hasn't really changed their character at all since
Nope.
they officially
5 or 6 years
turned
ago.
face. It's been consistent in regards to them being silly and maybe adding different things here, like the pancakes and the unicorn and the
Right. Ice cream bars.
yeah, and all these different ice cream bars.
Remember, they used to come down in the little ice cream bicycle thingy. You forgot? Oh, you
Okay.
forgot.
Okay. So okay. Yeah. But no,
You
it's just
forgot
like
about that.
it's a lot. It's a lot. It's very hard for talent to stay like that, right? Like a lot of times, talent. I can think of off the top of my head, like for Bailey example, right? That role model
Yeah,
character. I mean, not role model. The hugger wasn't working out really. She needed a change, and it worked for her. But like guys like the New Day, they don't have to change their shtick, right? And
they
they've been doing this
evolve.
like it's been for years.
They're
At this point, you got to sit here and think like New Day might be the
the greatest
greatest
faction ever.
tag team
They are
or tag team
greatest.
faction. Yeah, like you can't even dispute that.
Yeah, you
You can't
can't.
even dispute
And then
that. And here's go ahead.
and t- go ahead. No, you go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, the only what I was just gonna say was, and this is, and we've had this conversation when we first started this podcast. I told you I wasn't a fan of the New Day, right?
Yeah,
When everybody was on board with it, I wasn't a fan of the New Day because remember when they first came together. You know how we always have this conversation of side-eyeing WWE, just how people use black acts,
yeah,
right? So when you see, all right,
right.
let's put all the three black dudes together and like they're like preaching and doing all this stuff.
Preachers.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? It was just like I already see where this is
What?
going. And then eventually, right, it was just like even though this is them being true to themselves, I felt like I didn't
Right.
want it to be a situation. I feel like in a sense I'm trying to gatekeep our culture because I don't want it to be like a thing where the rest of the world is like laughing at you, not with us type thing. So I
Right.
was always like
For a li-
side eyeing. Go ahead.
I'm about to say for a little bit they did, especially when they did the bootios and was out there
Exactly.
twerking and stuff like that. They still got a little. They got a little
Yeah.
like kickback from people that don't watch the product because there was moms and parents going through the stores and the kids like, yeah, I want bootios. Like, what the heck is bootios? And they caught a little flag for it, but shout out to them because they prospered over all of that.
But not even outside of like the whole Budios thing and like parents or whatever. I'm just saying in regards to the culture, right? Like
Right.
again, for me, there was a time where like I said, I side-eyed it, even though they were hugely over. I side-eyed it because again, I didn't want it to be a situation where are you laughing with them and really like enjoying their work, or you laughing at them because it's like the goofy, black dudes.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Entertaining the masses.
Yeah.
But and then I remember when we were talking, I forget, I don't know what it was, and eventually I was like, you know what? They're actually really entertaining and really good. And then I was won over. So
Right.
like I said, going back to what I said earlier, you really got to give New Day their flowers just because they've been doing this for so long, and to have that longevity where people genuinely fuck, like you never hear any boos or anything. Everyone fucks with
Yep, each and every one of
them,
them. And I want to bring up a point, and let's not get lost in all of this. And you brought a great point up this past week.
Mhm.
We got to give Lashley his flowers because Lashley did a very great job with what he had
Yeah.
as champions these past few months. Like we all know that Raw hasn't been the easiest thing to watch. I'll be honest with you, I probably didn't watch most of it, but when Lashley matches happened, I watched Lashley matches and I supported Lashley. Lashley was a great champion. He really held it down. He looked very strong. Even going out to Big E, he still looked strong. You know what I mean? And I'm interested to see if they're gonna run it back between those two. I guess we'll find out on Monday. But yeah, it was dope to see Lashley be champion, and then on top of that, it was great to see a black wrestler pass the title over, or the title going from one black wrestler to another, and it was a great feeling to watch. Like if you're not one of us, you probably don't understand it. I'm sorry, I don't know how to explain it to you, but it's something that's never been done in over 60 years in that company.
And
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
and
ever in that company.
look at the lineage in regards to WWE champions. This is the fourth black champion, right?
Yeah.
So you're right. It again, all the flowers has to be given to Bobby Lashley. His run was absolutely amazing, and then you can
Shout out to
take it back
MVP.
from just. I'm just getting ready to say this. you can take it back into the when they were the PC era, right? It was just like
Right.
they from them when the pandemic started and they were just going to be performing at the performance center. um they took it to another level and they were legitimately one of the MVPs of that era, right? So you have to
Yep.
give them both all the credit and flowers in the world, because man, and this is the constant conversation that me and you have in general, right? This is how you build stars. Bobby Lashley at this point should no longer ever have to go for a mid title, right? Like
Right.
the United States Championship or the Intercontinental Championship. It
He
she
did all
should
that
show
already.
right. It's full. It should stick to WWE Championship or the Universal title, and that's how you build. You know how you build your division, your
The start.
card up. This is what
Yep.
they did. This is how they did it in the '90s in the Attitude Era when you had guys like The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Kurt Angle. You build stars. So yeah, even though let's say it's Rock and Austin right now facing each other, but you still have something going on with Kurt Angle and Triple H or whatever the case might be. This
Right.
is how you keep the rotation going, right? So now
Yeah.
at this point, it's you got so now I can expect to see guys like Bobby Lashley, Big E, Kofi, Randy, Drew McIntyre, all and there shouldn't be a shortage. This is how you
Right.
build the next person up, and this is how you build your roster. And now look, we had this conversation in the sense of you know Bobby Bobby earned himself to get drafted to SmackDown.
SmackDown.
He
Yep.
deserves it, right? He deserves it.
Yep.
I can see him going against Roman, right? And maybe him
Yeah.
potentially maybe being a face, but still keeping that persona that
Demeanor.
he has right now. Demeanor,
Yep.
exactly. You know what I mean? Now we have when he did such a good job. Now you can see him as a threat to anyone, and on either
SmackDown.
brand, right? So like you said, you have definitely shout out to Bobby Lashley. He did a fantastic job, and I'm a fan. I'm legit. Like I wasn't a
Uh,
fan before, not because of anything he did. It was just I couldn't get invested into it. He he
yeah.
did such a good
He went through
job
a lot.
that
We
I'm
talked
invested in.
about it. Everybody, like a
Yeah.
lot of people like to bring up, like, there's a lot of diversity in WWE and stuff like that. But we can't forget, like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, this guy was like battling because of his sisters that were dressed like men,
Yep.
and then showing off his glutes and
Mhm.
wearing a stupid headband, and you know what I'm saying, and
Yep.
I mean, Leo did a very good job with his role, but we always said this is not the role for Lashley. He should be a
Yep.
top star. And it took a while
Yep.
for him to do it because Lashley's been with the company now, what, 5, 6 years now already? Since he's been back, right?
Mm.
Like 4 or 5? Like, you wasted a
He
good
came.
three
He
of it.
came back after no. He came back after Nola.
Yeah, like you
Um.
wasted a good chunk of it on nonsense.
Yep.
Let's be honest. You almost wasted the guy. Honestly.
You brought up
But
a. You brought. Yeah, you brought up a good
he
point
came
too. In the sense of
he came
you
back
brought up a good.
2018.
You brought up a good point in the sense of diversity in WWE. Been having this conversation about inclusion and diversity. Last week it was more so AEW. Um, we noticed that this past year we've had two black world heavyweight champions in Bobby Lashley and now Big E. Sasha Banks held the
Yeah.
women's title. Bianca Belair held the the title after her. We've had
Mhm.
the Street Profits. We've had the Hurt Business, and we've had the New Day all carry tag team titles. We've had Apollo Crews holding the Intercontinental Championship, and then Biggie also um, as
The IC
well. I
title,
don't
yeah.
know if you know what I mean. So we've seen in the past year or so, we've seen there's been a lot more diversity when it comes or inclusion when it comes to black wrestlers holding prominent titles in the company. And for a while too. It's not like, all right, they hold it for a week or two. They've been holding it for months. Do you
Right.
is it something that we can be like on board with WWE in the sense of like, all right, they finally get us, or is this just a marketing ploy? Because again, we discussed this in regards to SummerSlam, how when Bianca dropped her title instantly, the whole feat that her and Sasha did at WrestleMania, it wasn't anything to them. It was just a marketing ploy. But is it a
Exactly.
company? Am I so basically my question to you is like, is this just a company trying to understand us, or is it just like, let's keep them
Is it like?
entertained or happy? Yeah.
I feel like that's not shit. We gotta watch them because WWE is very good with the sleight of hands. Um,
Mm,
we're getting it now, right? And even with Sasha, a lot of
mm,
her reign was to boost up Charlotte
mm.
or Alexa.
Her,
So a lot of her reign
yeah.
doesn't really like her previous reigns didn't really amount to much until this past year. And even then she couldn't
Mm,
really enjoy it much because she had to disappear for a bit. You know what I'm saying? Um
mm,
I feel like the tag team title has always been very good between the New Day, the Usos, a lot of like people of color, like it's a good rotation with the tag team titles. And two with
mm,
the workhorse titles as well. I just want to,
mm,
like I said, I don't know. It's dope to see right now because again, for the past couple of years, they was dropping the ball with it. Even with Kofi
mm.
Mania, it was Daniel Bryan's call at the end of the day. It wasn't Vince's call. It was Daniel Bryan who made the call to give it to Kofi. You know what I mean? Like, so
You
it's
can
something
say,
that is interesting.
you can, not to cut your point off. You can say that might be the same thing for Big E in regards to this. Remember when um I forgot what draft it was or whatever, or Talking Smack or something where, no, not even Talking Smack. It was just an interview saying that guys like Big E needs a shot, and then all of a sudden, remember, that's when there was a lot more focus on Big
Yeah,
E, and then that's when he got drafted by himself. So a lot can be said in that sense for in regards to Daniel Bryan as well.
for real. And this is why, not to take away anything from WWE, this is why I'm interested to see how Daniel Bryan becomes an influence at AEW in syncing with
Brian
CM Punk because
Danielson.
CM Punk, Brian Danielson, right? Synced with CM Punk because remember when CM Punk was over in WWE, he was vouching for a lot of guys too. And even now, we've
Mm,
seen that he's jumping into a program with Will Hobbs. Like, so it's gonna be very
mm,
interesting. And I feel like that kind of pushed WWE hand as well. It's like, all right, fans are complaining about this for AEW. Let's give them let's let's fill in that void real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is something they're missing. Hey, we got it over here. Like, it's all business at the end of the day. So you never really know. We all speculating. I'm not gonna sit here like I know
right.
all, but it's a speculation. It's like it's
Chan-
interesting
chan-
that you're just
chan-
now doing this.
chances are, yeah, chances are that's the case.
Like, so it's something to watch. But I'm like, I don't know if you paid attention to MVP's Instagram recently, but he showed a picture with him and Shelton Benjamin and saying, having talked with old companions and something like that. I would love to see the Hurt Business versus the New Day. That would be dope if you can find a way to make it work again. Because the way I broke him up, they make sense in the first place. Just before Lashley goes
Yeah,
over to SmackDown and take that title away from Roman, let's get that Hurt Business versus New Day. I wouldn't be mad about that.
yeah,
But
yeah. Like I said,
you want to see that?
I feel that. Yeah, of course. But I'm just saying in the sense of like going back to the question that I asked you. You, I don't want to be the one that's constantly complaining. But again, just being a person of color, or not only a person of color, but two black uh people,
Right,
we know how it is in all facets of life, whether it's wrestling, whether it's corporate America, whatever. There's always there's a hidden agenda, right? So it could be very
right,
much so that, like you said, all right, AEW's not doing this, so let's get the edge up on them and show that we're showcasing our black talent more. We're for equality and diversity and inclusion and all that. And then on the flip
right.
side, it might be like, listen, these are talented motherfuckers that need to be showcased, and finally, let's see what they can do. And I hope it's I hope it's the latter. I don't necessarily think that's the
You
case, but
want,
I would hope that's
you
the
want to bet
case,
on it?
right? Yeah, and then again,
Yeah.
it's still it doesn't even though, and like shout out to them doing this, but it still doesn't, like, we can't still take our foot off their neck, right? Because at the end of the day, still, when you look at WWE, when you look at it in regards to corporate and the names that are in high positions and you know
Backstage and yeah,
stockholder, what I'm saying, that has
yeah.
that big names, it still lacks color. So, shout out to you guys for, realizing your talent is not only just white males and white women, but also you got to put more of us in these type of positions as well. So when you do give guys like Bobby Lashley and Biggie the title, or Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair the title, or Naomi, go to us and be like, okay, well, what can we do to get, push them and make them look like stars, right? Because at
Right.
the end of the day, we want to feel like we can relate to these people, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of work still has to be done, but it's nice to see for a change someone that looks like us holding
Still
these
at the top.
prominent titles. Yeah,
And black
so that
wrestling,
that's
black wrestlers draws was trending right after that situation with Bobby Lashley as well. Um, like that's the hashtag to help push these people of color and black and white black wrestlers of women and men forward, because
let's go,
we gotta use social media. We gotta use every tool we got, which is like
let's
you said,
go.
reference to what we talked about with Phil last week. We gotta use every tool. We can't just sit back and wait. You know what I mean? The funny thing is now we're seeing Darius Lockhart that I mentioned like a couple episodes did a dark. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now he's teasing being on Dynamite next. So it's working. They listening. Like Phil said. Like there's no way around it.
And
They're listening.
I'm I'm glad you brought up in regards to Phil too, because that has to be said too. A lot of people took the misquoted or misinterpreted the clip that was posted in regards to what he was saying, right?
right,
We can't sit here we can't sit here and, yeah, because someone isn't used on a specific day, like, oh, fuck this, I'm not watching. So no, what we got to do is, right, continue to use our
what
platform,
happened?
continue to use our voices, so that they have no choice but to listen to us and put what we want in these positions, right? The fight is never
Right,
over, right? It doesn't mean like it's a hot topic one week and then we let it die down the next week. This is something that has to continue and that we have to continue to support. And again, we, as me and you had this conversation on the side after everything. It was just like, we as black people, people of color, have to come together and stop attacking each other. There's no reason why we sit
facts.
here and attack each other and not listen to each other's point of view. Granted, some people ain't for the culture, and then you got to just like, let them do their
Right,
own
right,
thing. But all of us, we all love wrestling, right? And that's the thing in
right,
regards to society. Society has it like, since we're, from the beginning of time, that there's not enough seat at the table. So what do? We fight each other, right? Thinking that there's only one spot, so I gotta put down you and I gotta put down you so I can have this seat. When that's not the case at all, right? Like
at all.
the
We
some of
all
the
can
things,
share the seat.
some
Like,
yeah,
like I tweeted, if we build our own table, we should all be able to eat. Like I don't see the problem with that. Like ain't nobody taking nothing off each other plates. It should just be perfectly fine. Let's eat.
and another thing that I had mentioned to you, right? People are attacking a point of view or not listening to the full point of view and attacking each other. But then remember when I told you, I had a blatant shout out to Wilkins and someone else that was, I didn't know this was going on, but just going back and forth with some clearly racist dude, right? And
Right.
clearly saying some off the wall shit. And you would think, okay, let's come together and get at homie for saying off the wall
Nah,
shit. But
they're too
nothing
busy.
was said.
They're too
We're too
busy.
busy fighting. We're too busy fighting each other. But when we got people literally attacking us because we're using our platform and voices, there's nothing to be said. And that's the only thing. This is not about attacking anyone in particular or whatever. But like, we all want the
We gotta do
same
better.
thing, right? We got to do
Yeah.
better as content creators and fans. Continue to use our voices and our platforms. We're clearly just as talented as our counterparts. There's no reason why we can't be in the forefront as well.
Definitely. And speaking of supporting people, this week I tweeted it before. I might have sent another tweet out after we finish getting off this. Tasha Steelz, right? She's a 2-time Impact Tag Team Champion with Kiara Hogan. They won the tournament and all that. She doesn't have any merchandise at Impact. That's a problem. That's something we should be focusing on. That's something we should be focusing.
She's Boricua too,
and she's from Newark, Jersey. So you already know about what is on and popping. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, we should be using our voices for. Anyway, we should be using our voices for those things to recognize those things. Like with Darius Lockhart doing something great, Lee Moriarty, who Phil mentioned should get signed. Got signed the week
and then wound up getting signed. Yeah.
And nobody want to mention that part, right? Anyway, all these great things that we need to focus on and highlight, and also back these black wrestlers. One, black wrestlers draw, and two, we need to make sure that they get the merchandise that they need. So this week, make sure you tweet Impact and let them know that Tasha Steelz need her shirt. Put some respect on her name. Everybody else got a shirt. Why don't she? That's my soapbox.
Is this your thing where you make this face like,
right?
Like you've been doing that for.
I don't know. It's just not working for me. I don't know. It's just working for me now.
But yeah, I think that's a good way to end off the show.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's not even a show. It's just like a little hot take. This is one of our. We haven't had a hot take in a while. This is probably one of our hot takes. Not an official episode, but a hot take.
Exactly.
I like that.
But the show, whatever hot take, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Mixed Tag Show. And follow me at Miss Jenna Baby BAYBEE
at Blue Magic Grind, spelled how it sound at the top.
There you go, at the top. All right.
And then Mixed Tag Show this way. All right.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. All right.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Tag show.